What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Ryan Pineda Show, where we talk all things money, real estate, and entrepreneurship. And in today's episode, I'm gonna give you the top 3 ways that you can buy your very first rental property today. So this is easily one of the most requested topics I get, whether it's in the comments below, whether it's in my Instagram DMs, or even on TikTok. And if you're not following me on those platforms, make sure you go give me a follow at those channels. And I think it's a great topic because rental properties are traditionally what has made people wealthy. Flipping houses and wholesaling is a great way to create income, but long-term wealth is built by owning real estate and holding it. And the reason that rentals are typically the best way to build wealth is because they offer so many extra benefits. Some of those benefits include cash flow every month. The tenant is paying down your principal balance by paying rent. In the long run, you'll get appreciation every year, and there's a ton of tax benefits to owning rental properties. And for me, the tax benefits are something that I really value. They help me offset all my income from flipping houses and wholesaling. And if you want me to make a video on the tax benefits, make sure you comment below that you want me to make that video so I know there's enough demand. That's the only reason I'm making this video, because people said they wanted to see it. So if you're watching this video, you probably already know that rental properties are great. I don't need to talk about all the benefits again. But how do you actually go about buying a rental property, especially if it's your first one ever? I'm gonna give you the top 3 ways that you can do it, and you're gonna figure out what's best for your situation. So let's jump into strategy number 1. And that strategy is the traditional 20% down mortgage. Now I'm gonna tell you, this is my least favorite strategy of the bunch. In fact, I don't like this strategy at all. And the only reason I'm including it is because it is the most common strategy that people use. Many loan programs require 20% down if you're buying an investment property. And that makes sense. They're a little bit riskier, so they want more skin in the game. And many investors like putting 20% down because it increases their cash flow. The more money you put down, the lower your payment's gonna be. And the lower your payment's gonna be means more cash flow every month. And you might be saying to yourself, yeah, I've heard that before. Why don't you like it, Ryan? And I'll tell you, I don't like the cash on cash return. If I go buy a $300,000 house and I have to put $60,000 down, number one, that's a lot of money. But for me, I'm always looking at the cash on cash return. So at the end of the day, how much is that $60K making me a month? Well, when we look at the cash flow, maybe I'm making $300 a month. Times that by 12 months and I'm making $3,600 a year. So if you're making $3,600 a year on your $60,000 invested, that comes out to 6% return. Now granted, I'm not taking into account all the tax benefits, I'm not taking into account principal pay down. This is strictly the return that you get from cash flow. To me, I'm not investing $60,000 to get a 6% return. I've got way better opportunities, and I'm gonna tell you about some of those later in the video. But all in all, this is the most common strategy that people use. There's nothing wrong with it, I just think there are better ways. The second strategy I'm gonna give you is more of a creative way to get a rental property. And that is first buying the home as an owner-occupant. So the beauty with owner-occupied purchases is you can put way less down. You can get an FHA loan for 3.5% down. You can get a conventional loan at 5% down. So on that same $300,000 house, you might only be putting about $11,000 down. It's much more appealing to me to only put $11,000 down versus $60,000. Now, with the FHA loan and with a primary residence, you actually have to live there. So you cannot go rent this out right away. But it's not like you have to live there forever. A year from now, if you want to go buy another primary residence and go rent out this one that you already bought, you can definitely do that. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people in the comments who are saying, no, you cannot buy a primary residence with the intent to rent it. And they're right. You have to buy it with the intent to live in it as a primary residence. But things change in life. You have a kid. You get married, you get a new job that pays you more. There's nothing to stop you from buying a new house a year from now. I get people who ask me all the time, what's the minimum time frame? How long do I have to live in it as a primary residence? And I can't answer that for you guys. At the end of the day, if there was ever an issue with your lender, you would have to prove intent. Did you intend to live in it when you purchased it? And the answer is yes. And I'm assuming that you actually moved into it and lived in it. But if you go get a job that moves you out of state 2 months after buying it, do you think there's anything to stop you from renting it? No, your situation changed. You can definitely go rent it. So if anything ever did happen, you'd have to prove why you did what you did. And in the case I just gave you with the job change, that's easy to prove. And personally, I've never heard of anyone ever being interrogated on whether they're actually living there or not. So is there a minimum? I've heard anywhere from 6 to 12 months. I have nothing to back that up. It's just something I've heard, so do not take my word for it. It's really up to you and what you want to do. But the long story short is you can definitely buy a primary residence, put less down, and make it a rental later on. You just cannot make it a rental the second you buy it. That's pretty much what you need to realize. And that leads me to the third way, and this is my personal favorite way, and I've talked about it before, so you guys probably are very familiar with it, and that is through the BRRRR method. And for those of you who don't know, BRRRR stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. Now, for the BRRRR method to work, you have to buy a discounted property. With the other two methods I talked about, you can buy them at market value. Obviously, I don't ever believe it buying in market value. I believe in always getting a good deal. But if you wanted to buy those at market value, you could. The BRRRR method is great because you're buying a discounted property and then you're going to get all of your money back. So let me explain. So here's the formula that you're typically looking at with BRRRR. You wanna buy anywhere from 70 to 80% of ARV minus repair cost. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, ARV is the after repair value. How much is it gonna be worth once you fix it up and do all the renovations? You wanna get 70 to 80% of that value and then minus the repair cost. And the reason I say 70 to 80% is because some lenders will lend up to 80% of the loan. Others require 70 to 75%. It's really gonna depend on your lender. Obviously, if you can get a property at 70%, that's better because you're getting a better deal, but those deals are harder to find. So if you find something at 80% of ARV minus repairs, it's still a good deal. Those are deals we buy all the time. And to give you just a quick visual of that, if my ARV was $200,000, I'd wanna buy it at a maximum of $160,000, because that's 80%, minus the repair cost. Maybe my repair costs are $20,000. So $160,000 minus the $20,000 in repairs gives me $140,000. That is the max I want to pay for this property. If I can buy this property for $140,000, the BRRRR method is gonna work great. Because what's gonna happen is I'll buy the property, I'll fix it up, put that 20K into it, I put a renter in there. Now when I go to refinance, they're gonna give me the value of $200,000. And if they give me 80% of that, they're gonna give me a loan for $160,000. And that's how much I'm all into it for with my purchase price and rehab funds. So when they refinance me, I get all my money back. And once I have all my money back, I can go buy another one and do it again. That's where the last part of BRRRR repeat comes into play. So some of you guys might be saying, well, how do I actually buy it? Where do I get $20,000 in renovation money? Good question. You're gonna use a hard money lender to buy the initial purchase. And I've done many videos about hard money lenders, so I'm not gonna go into depth on this video about what they are and how to find them. If you wanna see those videos, you can go click the link below, check out my real estate playlist as well. But hard money lenders are a great resource because they will fund good deals like that. It doesn't really matter what your credit is or your job situation. And that's why I love the BRRRR method, because not only am I getting a property with a lot of equity in it, but I'm also getting all my money back, and it allows me to go buy other properties. When I look at the other two methods with putting 20% down or even 3.5% down, that money is still stuck into the deal, so I can't use it on other deals. With this method, I get all my money back, I have equity, and then I can go use that money to buy another deal. The last thing I should add with all three of these methods is there is one catch. In order to execute any of these, you are going to have to qualify for traditional financing. That means you gotta have a decent credit score, you gotta have 2 years tax returns, your debt to income needs to be okay, and if you're buying it as a rental out the gate, it needs to hit a certain rent ratio. And if you think that sounds like a lot of requirements, it's true. It kind of sucks going through the process of getting a loan. I won't lie. But what I can say is it's worth it if you qualify. As we talked about earlier in this video, the ability to build wealth through rental properties is unlike anything else I've seen in the financial world. Just all the benefits of appreciation, principal pay down, cash flow, and the tax benefits, nothing compares. So if you're lacking in the credit department, work on fixing your credit. If you don't have 2 years of tax returns with the same type of job, then know that that's what you need to strive for. If you have a lot of debt and it's screwing up your ratios, find out a way to pay that off as quick as possible. I didn't say at the start of the video that this was gonna be easy, but these are the best ways to get started with buying your first rental. And here's what I want you guys to do. If you're unsure whether you qualify or not, I want you to just go to a lender. You can go to your local bank, you can do a Google search, just see what they say. Ask them to get pre-qualified and they'll tell you what exactly you can qualify for, how much money you need to put down, if you're able to buy a loan, and if you're not, they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. So there should be nothing stopping you from getting your first rental. You may be ready to do one right now, or you may have some work to do before you can get yours, but at least know what's available. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. If you did, go hit that like button. If you haven't already, go subscribe to my channel. Go follow me on all my other socials. And if you're really interested in real estate investing, go check out my website, futureflipper.com. We have different products for how to find your first deal, how to estimate rehab cost, and everything in between. So go check out futureflipper.com or click the link below. And above all, start building your wealth through real estate, guys. Take care.